All right, so ladies and gentlemen, believe it or not, for my very first podcast, I have Dallas Coyle of God Forbid and Genetic. Dude, how you doing?
I'm good, but it's ex God forbid. So let's make sure that people know that I'm not in the band anymore because I'm not in the band anymore, even though I'm still part of the band. There's a big difference there.
All right, so I mean, I'm sure that God Forbid fans want to hear why are you not part of that band?
I'm not part of the band. Hello.
So you're not gonna tell the fans that the three people that are gonna listen to this. You're not gonna tell people why you're not part of the band. Like, what's the politics? What's the family history? Why are you not in the band?
What do you think? What do you think is the reason why? You tell me.
Why do I think personally?
You're a big fan, so you must know some things. You've heard rumblings. So why don't you tell me why you think that I left the band? And you spoke earlier, so you should have an idea. And if you don't get it right, then it means you aren't listening, and I'm going to hang up on you.
Oh, you better not hang up on me. Because I feel that your band wasn't going in the direction that you wanted it to.
Yeah, I mean, that is definitely it. But also, I felt that the genre of music wasn't offering me the creative outlet that I needed to not kill myself. So, and also I just was frustrated, and I felt the band wasn't going to get any bigger than it was at that point. It just seemed like the buck stopped there, and I jumped off the freight train. Fortunately for me, I jumped off on March 30th, and then the press release came out on April 1st, so I thought it was an April Fool's joke.
Oh, but did the timing have anything to do with the exposure of the band?
No, I was never. I mean, maybe maybe it did. Maybe I wasn't happy that the label wasn't doing what it should have been doing for the record. But at the same time, I was just sick of being in the band. I was sick of everything of the band touring lifestyle. I don't tour now because I'm sick of it. I think that the way bands tour then, when I was in the band, is an extinct model, and I don't think that it's worth doing for the sacrifice. And also, I had personal opinions about just where the band should go and shit like that, and it just wasn't really just worth it enough for me. And then it's the best decision I've ever made because, if I stayed in the band, I would have killed myself. You know what I'm saying? All emotions. To me, I think music is very emotional, and I think that it connects to people on levels. And I think the music that I write, I'd rather people hear it and find it rather than me push it out there and advertise it and put my name on a damn billboard with my dick hanging out. Look at me. Because honestly, to tell you the truth, I really have nothing to do. I'm just like a vessel for this music that comes through. I have no idea where it comes from. I don't know why I'm talented to do it, but that happens. And that Genetic record is probably like the last real metal thing that I've done. And I'm not saying we won't do metal again, but the cards are not pointing to me doing metal because I'm disgusted with metal. It's just so boring and fucking like.
What makes you personally disgusted with metal? What bands, what trends do you see that make you feel disgusted with the genre itself?
No band in general. It's just the fact that there's no meaning to it anymore. There's no social message. Like our band has social message. Lamb of God has a social message.
Yeah, it did, definitely.
And these bands these days, I don't understand what the fuck they're talking about. I mean, like, you got people on Facebook with this guy. There's people in metal bands getting more famous for assaulting women and going to jail than they are for changing things and helping people. I think that the metal scene. Another reason why I don't like the metal scene is it's way too specific, it's way too compartmentalized, and it's hard to broaden the base from there. So it doesn't make sense for me to make that music because I make music for all types of people. I don't make music just for metalheads. But luckily, I got my schooling from metal. So like I have a diverse array of tools because metal needs the most tools to be the most interesting.
That's really interesting that you mentioned that because I was actually going to ask you what are your feelings of Ronnie Radke?
Well, I only saw this yesterday. I didn't even know who this guy was, and I still don't know who he is. So my feelings about him is nothing.
I wanted to ask you, like, what initially, when you first started playing music, what inspired you to play music? Was there a riff I know for me personally, because I play guitar, it was stuff like, early Metallica, the Black Album, One, stuff like that. What made you play guitar? What made you sing as well?
Well, I mean, I started singing at 2 years old, like Devo. The song Can't Get No Satisfaction. And then at like 5, Michael Jackson came out. And then me and my brother grew up on Miles Davis and like Whitney Houston and all that R&B stuff in like the 80s. And then like in the late 89, 90, like a lot of like the hip hop, like Young MC, stuff like that. And then we went over to a friend's. We were hanging out with these girls in our neighborhood, the only 2 white girls, and we were at their house. And, like,
yeah.
They were watching MTV, and we didn't have cable because, we were broke as fuck. So it's like, we get there, and these 2 girls, we see TV, and then November Rain is on the video, and that was the first time I saw Slash, and I was like, oh, wait, that's really cool, when I was listening to, like, hip-hop,
Yeah.
But then when we really got exposed to it, was like my brother, we moved with my dad, my cable, I guess, got us into music because we got MTV, and that was when Metallica's The Black Album came out, and Megadeth was on. So we basically got exposed to metal through that, through the commercialized, the shit that people say Metallica sold out album. That's the album that informed our songwriting. So that's why I call bullshit on that, because we started playing guitar at that time and were inspired by those records. And then we were like, it was Pearl Jam, Alice in Chains, then Metallica, then a Slayer, and then it just got deeper. It got Suffocation, Cryptopsy, and everything. Like the genres are just crazy. We listened to crazy stuff. Spiral and stuff like that. So Atheist, Death. Like we listened. We were basically musical like leeches. We took everything that we possibly could in a short amount of time, and we took it up and soaked it in and put in our own music and we really tried to impress people in the beginning, And me and my brother, it took us like only 2 years since we first started playing guitar to actually start the band in '96. So
why was there such a difference between your first album and the second album? Because you and I had talked.
Actually, our first album is actually this album called Reject the Sickness.
Yeah.
That's signed in Century Media. Then then the next album was Determination, and then Gone Forever was the third album.
Yeah, that's what I'm sorry. I apologize. That's what I meant. The second and third album, they really do. As a fan, they sound completely different. And the third album was more along the lines of heavy fucking metal. Like, why was there a difference?
Oh, you just said it. Heavy metal. Nice. Thank you. Ding, 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 ding. We have a winner.
No, it totally was. It was heavy metal with breakdowns, dude.
Well, what happened was, like, remember, we started very young. I was 19 and 18 when we did our first, like, Reject the Sickness album. So we were basically, we didn't write. We were trying to impress people with me and my brother trying to impress people with our songwriting skills, and our drummer was trying to impress people with his drums. So we wrote this really technically crazy stuff.
Yeah.
And that really set us apart. Only because we practiced 3 times a week, and I was 19 years old. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Back in 97, 98, 99. And we got really good really fast. But we were not a hardcore band, and New Jersey's a hardcore scene. So we ended up, playing a lot of hardcore shows and being, like, labeled as this hardcore band. And when we did Determination, this is something that a lot of bands do. I don't know if they're going to do it now, but we got signed to Century Media. We thought we had to write a more metal album. So what we did was we ended up writing a more, thrashy, record. Then on the mentality of the second album, the third album changed because me and my brother realized that our band wasn't getting big enough because we weren't writing songs for the populace of people in metal who can understand it. We were writing metal before for like the wonder kinds, the people who were impressed by it. Like now, we decided we made a couple of decisions. We were like, okay, what type of band it would be? We started being like, oh, we love Metallica, we love Megadeth, we love this. So we said, okay, we want to write songs like that. So how does that work? Okay, that works this way. You have to have song structures, and you have to work within those.
Mm-hmm.
We dropped all like the crazy time signatures. We dropped like a lot of like the crazy fast stuff we were doing because we wanted to basically focus our band and use less to get more. And that was a painstaking process for us because we were very depressed because we did a headlining tour after and it failed miserably. So it was so bad. So me and my brother kind of went in there and gutted the machine, told us to play to a click, like things like that. Like we really got like fucking evil, but it worked. Like I even tracked the vocals. I did a lot of, and that's the first album I started singing on because it was just natural, and I didn't even know if I could sing, so it was like weird, but it came out good, and people were impressed, and so I was like,
Yeah.
And so the mentality of like getting signed to a label, being excited, being, oh, we're metal now, writing this metal album that's like a little bit more metal, and then being disappointed, and then saying, okay, stepping back and saying, okay, well, let's rebuild.
So
And I think
from what you're saying, it seems like it didn't really matter. It was more along the lines of what you guys wanted to do versus what was going on in the scene. And that's a big thing. What's going on in the scene?
I'll actually admit something that, you know, a lot of people would say is blasphemy in general. But Killswitch Engage, when they came out with, we heard their demo this summer that our tour failed before they even got signed to Roadrunner. We heard they were getting signed to Roadrunner, and it blew us away. It's a 3-song demo.
Yeah.
It basically that demo basically showed us what we were doing wrong with our music.
Really?
Because what we did was like, not musically technically, but just song structure. Because we like song structure, you know what I mean? We weren't like this band who wanted to impress people. Like, I think bands these days, like, who want to play arpeggios, man, they make me sick. I want to like take my dick and slap it in their face and knock them out, and take their guitar and shove it in their stomach and be like, fuck you.
Really? Because that's what's really popular right now is those arpeggios.
Yeah, but you know what? It's annoying. Now you got a 13-year-old who's playing better than I was at 18 because he got YouTube, so fuck him.
That's totally true. Like, I'm 28 and I've been playing guitar since I was 14, but I'll meet a guy who's only been playing for 6 months and he plays better than I do. It's totally true.
Also, but the thing is, there's also like there's a learning curve there's an inspiration learning curve where like you actually pick up a hobby much quicker at a younger age. So like if you pick up the guitar at 14 on YouTube, you're gonna go much faster than you would if you had picked up like we did. So you can YouTube now at 28 and you can have the YouTube, but you don't have the frame of mind to pick it up and have it be inherent and just go for it and just get really good. Like me and my brother, it took us 2 years to get really tight and good. And we got better and better. And now it's like we toured so much, we were a really fucking tight band. Super tight. We had a powerful sound live because we were technicians with our sound, and like we took pride in just making sure that our shit sounded sick. I mean, we would do things like where it's like we would tell the label, like, listen, you know, this is a tour where we need a sound guy. Don't send us out here with an asshole mullet wearing Kentucky looking fucking mustache having motherfucker with our sound. We need a guy to do our sound because we need to go out there, we need to be represented and sounded good. So like we also took steps to basically not tell the label what we needed and demanded it, because as an artist these days, like labels, I'm glad labels are in the position they are, because back then labels always would tell artists what was up.
Yeah.
How is the label going to tell an artist what their art's about? So it's like and it's always me actually. I was always the one who was vocal. I was always the dick. I was always the one who would just make, you know.
There's always one. There's always an asshole.
Well, but I'm probably one of the biggest assholes. I'm not Dave Mustaine asshole, but like,
yeah.
I'm an asshole. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, you know, it's.
I know, that's why I'm recording you, because you hate me.
I don't hate. I hate you because you have a fucking beard that I can't grow. I can't grow facial hair.
Oh no, dude, I've grown this since February. It's November, so.
Well, congratulations. I'll send you a medal in the mail.
I actually deserve that. So I wanted to ask you, because you had talked about recording videos and doing shows. There is a very famous, and I know you've heard this a million times, but because I'm me, I gotta ask. There's a very famous video of you and God forbid online. It's from about 6 years ago, where you guys were playing a song from Determined, and a girl gets her ass kicked in a mosh pit.
6 years ago?
Yeah, dude. I mean, the video that I found, it was uploaded 6 years ago.
I think it's a lot longer than that. I think that was in 2000. I think it was 12 years ago.
What do you think of stuff like that going on?
That shit doesn't really happen anymore. That was indicative of the hardcore scene in New Jersey. You know, that shit would happen all the time. I mean, you think that was bad, man? There would be riots at shows and shit, and we'd be dying laughing because people were getting hit upside the head with chairs. And it's like, it's the hardcore scene in Jersey. I mean, Jersey's a pretty tough area, you know what I mean? But
yeah,
you know,
well, not anymore.
Well, we were the metal band that had that heavy fucking breakdown. So it's like, you know, when the breakdown came in, dudes just wanted to house everybody. I mean, it's like, you get dudes, I mean, when dudes pick up a chair to smack somebody, you know your shit's kind of heavy. And
yeah.
Angry. You know, there was emotion behind our music. So it's like, you know, and we didn't really know what we were doing. And when we were writing that album, we wanted to get away from the hardcore scene, because that fighting and stuff was that disgusted us. And that's why there's less breakdown determination, because we didn't want people to get hurt at our shows. You know what I mean? Because that's what was happening.
But isn't that a part of the whole thing? Is that you want to be you want to be associated with the scene so that everybody recognizes you, and then you can break away from it. It seems like the way that you're talking about, you wanted to immediately disassociate yourself with what was going on.
Well, we had no choice but to be in that scene because we got fucked over at a Seven Dust show. We sold like 70 tickets, and then it wasn't enough for this guy. And then he said, "You play after Seven Dust," and then we waited all around, and then Seven Dust played, and they closed the club. We never got to play. So like that changed our band forever. And then we just started doing free shows, and I basically booked. We played 160 shows before we even signed to Century Media.
Oh shit!
We played on the week. You know, I basically set up all of our shows through internet AOL chat rooms, hardcore chat rooms for free. And I set up basically I was like my own agent, and I had done all that shit, and but you could only play those types of free shows at the hardcore scene. So we were this band called God Forbid, where everyone thought we were tough guy hardcore, like fucking, you know, like even like Terror. They thought we were like Terror, but we were this other band.
Yeah.
And but the violence in New Jersey, we started to become more popular in New Jersey because our first album was on the radio. We started to see a lot more violence, and it was like cowardly violence. It was like just a reason for a guy to kick a girl in the face, like, and it was just like you see it on stage, and these people are actually like people you know. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it was really weird. It was really weird to see some shit like that. Like I had seen that after one of the albums that I had bought from you guys from like FYE, and I saw that video, and I was like, what the fuck is going on with these guys?
Well, see, but the thing is, it's like that's fucked up. It's like marketing for us that fucks us over. It's like, and that's another thing that pigeonholes us. It makes us look like this violent band. But if you read any interview with us or you saw anything, we were not about violence at all.
No, you guys really weren't. When I saw you guys at a more major venue, you guys were not violent. You guys were actually really cool.
You know, we were about entertainment. I mean, we thought that our music was impressive. Like, see, the thing is, man, most people who are humble, like, you know, I'm a humble person. Like, I don't talk about my band life because I'm not in it anymore. I don't really give a shit about that. But at the time we were doing that stuff, we knew we were better than most of the bands we were surrounded by.
Yeah.
You know, and we were signed to Century Media and stuff, but we still had a chip on our shoulder because we, you know, it was just one of the things. So when that video came out, it just made us look fucking bad. Because it says God Forbid, and then it's like, oh, you know what? Even though it's not like our singer is not just someone on the stage, who wants to go to a God Forbid show after you see that? You know what I mean?
Well, there's actually, I was actually going to ask you about that. There's a huge subsection of the hardcore scene that see this is what's going on, and they'll come to see your show because they saw this on YouTube. Do you feel that helped you?
Currently? Are you saying currently or back then? Because that was 12 years ago, man. I don't know.
No, back then, obviously. Yeah, back then.
I mean, you know, back then, that shit disgusted me. I mean, we played this one show with, like, at this college, and basically there was, like, this riot, and, like, it was like a posse of animals. Like, it was like a bunch of ignorant niggers over, you know, but these are white people. I'm not talking about black people.
Okay.
They were like hardcore kids who basically were part of crews and stuff, and like these dudes, you know, they're part of crews, right? "Quote unquote" crews.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I've run into crews. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, but you know what's funny? These crews don't have cars; they ride bikes. You know, like seriously.
Oh, they totally do.
Come on, this ain't the Outsiders, motherfucker. Like, it was just a big disassociation between responsibility.
Yeah.
And machismo, like these guys they're just a bunch of cowards because they need a bunch of people, they need a crew to be tough. Like they weren't doing anything, they weren't protecting people. It wasn't like, you know, I mean, like,
it wasn't a cool scene. Basically, it wasn't cool.
Well, no, I mean, so, you know, there were some people who were very, very like one thing I loved about the hardcore scene, it was very anti-racism.
Yeah, definitely.
Like if there were white power dudes, those white power dudes were getting beat down. Like there was no question. It wasn't like, yo, we'll let you walk. It was like, okay, you get beat down and then we go home. You know what I mean? So
I definitely remember that. And it doesn't seem like it's that today. It doesn't seem like that at all.
Well, and you know what? I will give you that whole metalcore thing because I guess the core comes from the fact that we have that in us, that we'll, you know, like we have this like brand of like, you know, there's always a purpose to our music, sort of. Maybe that's where the core comes from, but
yeah.
Not in the music. But but that was kind of like a catch-22 because we didn't look like any of the other bands. Like, like I had my hair tied back. I didn't even have my hair long. My brother had glasses. Like, it was like we were an unformed band.
Yeah, you guys were different.
It was like the clay was still being molded, and then it wasn't until Gone Forever where I realized, holy shit, Gone Forever. I was like, okay, I need to because we need to be noticed. So we decided to do. We did the photos. Okay, we need to have our photo on the inside of the album so people know who we are at the shows, and that really matters. But the thing is, the label didn't tell us to do that. We made that decision ourselves because we made the decision to say this makes sense. If you want people to recognize you, then put your picture in the album, but make sure that the picture you have is iconic. And the Gone Forever, if you look at the Gone Forever picture on the inside, it's a pretty cool picture. You know what I mean? It just seems like that album was a great thing for me because I was able to prove to myself and also get over a lot of tension and a lot of basically me being like a general, and me and my brother taking over the band, taking it and making it our band and telling other dudes what's like kind of how it's going to go.
Yeah.
And no disrespect to them because it's not disrespect, but bands.
You guys had a vision, and when you guys put your foot down, the vision came out. It seemed like you guys knew what was better for the future of the five of you compared to what was actually going on at the time.
Exactly, and you know what? But I was so young back then that when I was very, very, I wasn't, I didn't know what compromise was. There was a lot of screaming. It was a lot of do this and do that, and the only reason I started singing is because I just wanted to. I was trying to tell Byron what to sing, and then so I just had to do it myself, and then I realized, holy shit, I can sing.
You can sing. You definitely can sing. That's for sure.
No, I mean, I'm actually now my singing is crazy. Like, I don't know if you've ever heard of Frank Ocean, but he's like this R&B singer. I could sing like that. Like, I'm actually an R&B singer and like a fusion singer now. Like, I don't really do aggressive singing anymore because it's just I think that people, no matter who you are, if you're a nurse or I think that you should do the thing that you're best at.
Yeah, absolutely.
If you do this the best, then you do this okay. I think that you should drop the okay from it and concentrate on your best because I think that's where you're most comfortable and you will create the best and most unique and genuine art.
So I wanted to ask you, who is it that you've met because you've been in a more popular band? Who do you wish that you knew, and who do you wish that you had never met because you were in a popular band?
So we played this show in L.A., and it was really, really awesome. And, OTEP was there because she's a friend of mine. We did Ozfest. And OTEP, Evil J was up there. He goes, Dallas, he goes, come over here, man. I'm like, what? He's like, Adam Jones is here. I'm like, what? He's like, Adam Jones, who's here? He came to meet me and my brother specifically,
That's awesome.
He liked our... Yeah, but the thing is, at that point, I realized that, oh, shit, we're onto something. Because if Adam Jones recognizes something in your music that makes him want to come to meet you, that's fucking crazy.
That is crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy, but it's one of those things, it's a very personal moment. You know what I mean? It's like me, I wasn't the biggest Tool fan, but I understood how amazing Tool was.
Yeah.
You don't need to like a band a lot to know that. It's like if you don't like Dream Theater, but Mike Portnoy comes to your show, you're still gonna be like, yo, what the fuck, Mike Portnoy came,
Yeah.
But I had become a Tool fan at that point, you know what I mean? But my dad was a bigger Tool fan, so it almost validated me and my brother, but it also validated me and my brother to my dad. To be able to tell Dad, Dad, he got us into Tool. Dad, the guitar player from Tool came to our show. It's crazy.
That is really crazy, actually.
Yeah, but then after that, it was like all guns blazing with the music. I became more confident because then Adam Jones comes to the show, and I'm like, and I keep it to myself. You know what I mean? It's not something that, I'm not like a boaster. I don't sit here and be like, yo, I did this and I did that. I'm more of a I ask questions guy. I like to fuck with people by asking them questions that they don't want to answer.
That's why I have you on a podcast.
Yeah, well, I say them. I say that, and the one thing that I've noticed, and this is what the best thing about us touring for so long is, I become like a psychology major, because I'm not good with controlling my own temper even to this day, but people lose their temper very badly for me just asking basic questions that should be answered simply, because I have a talent for being able to kind of cut through the shit with one question that gets down to the bottom of like what the real problem is. A lot of people spend their time hiding what their agenda is, but I actually am a very honest and genuine person. I'll tell you, like, you know, I did in 2007 when I was depressed from the band. It wasn't big enough. I was just fucking doing so much cocaine that I was trying to kill myself, like not kill myself like literally, but I was trying to like run my body down. I wake up the next day, I'm like, God damn, like again, you know, like
Really?
that put me in. Yeah, that put me that put me in a phase, like a demon phase, to where I was depressed and like, you know, and the band and 2006. That's when the kernel of me leaving the band started. When I realized that I tried in 2005 in Europe, I tried to make moves to get me to be the front man of the band, and not me singing all the parts, but me directing the band and me talking to our stage and like me doing that, because I thought I was the one writing most lyrics, so I understood the message better than anyone else, so it makes sense. But my brother fucking shut that shit down, and that shit basically it hurt me emotionally, but it also made me be like, nigga, who the fuck do you think you're talking to? I'm your older brother. But then you have the other guys. I never wanted to bring it up to the other guys because they thought I was an egotistical fuck anyway. You know what I mean? So I didn't want to like rock the boat. I was trying to change my behavior. So, you know, it was just like, but that would have been the logical step, and like use Byron as more of like a, because like what God forbid is very musical. So it's like, you know, I think the show and our band is diverse looking, so we could have had a much better show if, like, not choreographed, but like, you know, something that we make, you know, like a show that we make. Like, what's the difference between making a song and making a show? There's no difference. It's just how you present it, you know.
Oh yeah, even being in a unsigned touring, like local band, at band practices, we would be like, oh, let's do this move here, and it was kind of like a choreographed. It wasn't necessarily a dance, but we would headbang, or we would do like a certain kind of headbang.
Well, see, the thing is, you know what? The one thing about metal that I think will hopefully help it is like for the words like choreographed to not be bad words.
No, it's not at all.
A bad word. Yeah, but the thing is, if you use it in metal, you just feel like ugh, like you don't want to watch a band that has choreographed moves, right? It seems cheap.
Yeah.
But really, like. You know, but choreography is different than choreographed moves. Choreography is actually a full piece, like an arrangement, you know?
Yeah.
And there's an art in that. But, like, for me, like, at the time, emotionally as an artist, man, I wasn't thinking about that shit. I was thinking about that we weren't selling enough records. But if I had been thinking about the bigger picture, how are we being perceived? How is our show looking? Like, you know what I mean? Like, if I had done it like that, I'd been more high-minded, we would have done much better. Like, that's why Tools does so great, because their shows are based around that idea of the experience rather than seeing the guys.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
You know, that's why I like that we're in a more artist-driven, where you can record your own stuff, because now there's not as many excuses anymore.
No, there's almost no excuses anymore. There's almost none.
Yeah, but with the Genetic record, like, you know, I put out a song on Metal Sucks, and everyone's talking shit. They were talking shit because they were just hating me at that point, because I was just being just an asshole anyway.
I think they were, if I may interject, I think they were talking shit because you were doing something outside of God forbid.
Well, I mean, I quit God forbid pretty violently as well, so.
Most people don't know that kind of stuff, though. They just see a name and a band, and all of a sudden, wait, this name is doing something different. Oh no, we don't like that. That's mostly the internet.
Well, see, the thing is, that record I did on my computer with no microphone. I sang into my computer.
Nice.
I plugged my guitar into there. It's all computer drums. Like, that's all me. Everything in there is me. I didn't have a bass. I used a guitar and I pitch shifted the guitar and made it a bass. Like,
nice.
I learned how to record. Like,
yeah.
That's how I started recording. So, but the thing is, that album is not supposed to be an album. It's supposed to be like a demo album.
Yeah.
It's like supposed to be like Metallica's first demo. You don't sit here and say, oh, this is shit. Like, you don't. You say, oh, this is great because it's their first demo, and it's okay. You know, it's okay for it to sound like that.
Yeah, so this was like your first. This was you taking your first step outside of God forbid, letting people know that this is what I want to do. This is who I am outside of this band, accept it or not.
Yeah, well, you know, and the funny thing is, the whole idea of the whole thing is to show the flaws.
Yeah.
It's to say, you know what, this is out of key. This, you know what, this doesn't sound very good. Oh, this song is like this. But you know what? Every single song has a moment of genius. I can tell you that.
Yeah.
You know, and it's not like being a dick about it. I'm saying that I was in the zone. Genius is not me. Genius is a zone. It's a zeitgeist. You know what I mean? It's like Elizabeth Gilbert. She says, "Eat, pray, love." She says that back in the day, in order for people to take the burden off of like spiritual, people thought that genius came from outside of them and into them and then left again.
Yeah.
And that's kind of how that's how I see it. So, and on that record, like, and now with my book, one of the things I'm going to do is I'm going to be doing a breakdown and analysis of each song and how they work and what they meant to me at the time and how they related to my, my growth as a person and the problems I was going through, like the things that I'm talking about. And these are things where it's like I'm putting this in a book so that people understand that life and songs, if they're going to be right, like you have to live a strong and clean and good life. And I don't mean clean as in no drugs. I mean clean life as in like you're not going out there to fuck somebody over to get something. You need to get something honestly. You need to help people. And I think that directly relates to the type of music that you write.
Yeah.
And I think good music, strong music, comes from like a great place. You know what I mean? Even black metal, like Mayhem is like the
or Gorgoroth.
Man. But it comes from like a place where like they need to, it comes from a very genuine place.
Yeah, they come from a place where we don't believe in Christianity so much to a point where we think what you're doing is wrong. And there's a lot of people that think that what Christianity and what Catholicism is doing is flat out wrong.
Well, I mean, imagine what's going to happen if, like, in Libya they have a band that says that against Muslims. Goddamn, what are they going to sound like? They're going to sound like death incarnate, So it's like, and that's exactly what I'm saying. It's like, that's music is, especially now, music is, in America, it's like candy, but in other places in the world, it is so necessary, but it's not available.
Yeah.
And it's crazy that here in America, and that's why I don't make music, because I don't believe that Americans deserve my music. And I'm not talking about you specifically. I'm saying just as a general, if you generalize things, I don't think that Americans need to hear my music because the shit that Americans have a good life. You know what I mean? Like, people who need to hear my music, like I wrote this new song called Yay Yay, and it's like, basically it's a song about like just a cocaine high and how it's like a demon, but it's also nice at the same time. It's like teetering the edge of like, your moral line, but it's like almost fun sounding and it's all drony and it's like, and it's going on a mixtape for this rapper Tech Nine. It's like almost like an R&B. It's like it's a weird song. But I wanted to put that song out to Libya and try and filter it out there so that these kids out there can just get this feeling of teetering the line between good and evil so that they can start thinking for themselves, because that would help them a lot more. It's going to help a motherfucker in Kentucky. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, absolutely.
Think about it. And a lot of the stuff is like I write lyrics. I write lyrics. All my lyrics are basically double speak. Every single song like has words that there's two meanings to the words, or I have translations. I make my own languages so that there's the idea behind my thing is that there's always two sides. You can always translate something. Like the word God doesn't mean the same thing it means to me that it does to you.
No, obviously not. So
the word friend now too. I mean, and the bigger the world gets, and especially America, the more meanings a one word gets. That's why the word nigger, I'm gonna say it over and over again.
Who gives a shit?
Exactly.
It's a word.
It's going to have a different meaning very soon.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's like, and so that's, to me, I think I basically stopped making music for a long time, and I just went under the radar. But I started working with music again. I helped this one artist. Basically, I changed this one artist's life. Like he found his voice as an artist, but he helped me find my voice and made me realize that I'm the best at music. So this is what I really need to be doing for like my philanthropy. I don't do music to sell it because it's a waste if I do it, because I'm so good at it and I have something to say, and now I've found a way to say it, that I need to figure out how to get it to the people that need to hear it, because my music heals.
Yeah.
Figure that out from, and the thing is, it heals myself too. You know what I mean? So it's like, so I don't, and I only show my music to certain people. Like it's like I don't put my music out there because my music is very, very dark. It's very creepy. There's some songs that are almost, we wrote this one song that's like kind of a cross between Radiohead and like black metal.
What's the name of that song so that people that hear this, they can look it up?
See, it's on you should put a link, ask me later, but it's called Hieroglyph and it's through Mad Carousel SoundCloud.
What's specifically the name of the band that it's under?
It's called N. I have a SoundCloud page for it, you know. But the thing is,
Yeah.
because I have a company called Mad Carousel with my friend Andrew Harrison, and we have a SoundCloud, you know, Mad hyphen Carousel, and you go there. We have a bunch of different songs. It's all songs that I've produced and songs that I've sung on, and I'm not actually like featuring any of the tracks. I just who can use my platform as a way to say what they want to say. Like I don't want people to know me really, like, you know what I mean? Because I don't do this for that, you know. Like I and some people do.
You do it for the music, basically.
Yeah, I mean, actually, I do it for people. Like,
Yeah.
people need to hear what I got to say because, I mean, I got some fucking bad demons inside of me.
Well, hold on a second. You said that you're basically writing a self-help book. You know, if you go to like a bookstore, there's 1.5 million self-help books. Why do you think your message would stand above other self-help books?
Well, I mean, I don't know if it's standing above or below. I think it's just, you know, it's. I don't want to say what the name of the book is yet because I'm waiting for like for companies and stuff. But
Yeah.
the idea of the book is like basically it's a how-to in songwriting. It starts off as a how-to in songwriting, like what this basic structure of a song is, and it relates to like. And I take a basic structure of a song and I relate it with like the triangle. Like you can't put the second floor in a house on first. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, definitely.
You know. So the idea is like, you know, it's to get people to, you know, like people like guitar players, to get them to understand that, okay, the drums lay the foundation, and the way your drums, whatever the drums are doing, dictates what the guitar does. But the guitar lays on top of the drums, and then.
Yeah, but isn't the guitar first though?
No, it's not, because the guitar doesn't carry anything. The guitar makes the melody.
Yeah, but
It's the mood.
But there's so many more things that you can do really with a guitar. Considering that, like, if I want to write a metalcore song, I'm gonna present a metalcore song to my drummer, and then he has to kind of back me up. But I'm gonna work with him.
Okay, see, you got it backwards, because how many songs that are popular on the radio or songs that you listen to all the time just are played with guitar with no drums? None. Like, are very rare.
Yeah, but there aren't.
Like-
I don't really know of any drummers out there that they just write a bunch of drum beats and then say, okay, play guitar to this.
Yeah, but I'm not saying that the drums overtake. I'm saying that the drums lay the foundation. You know, I'm not saying that drums are more important. I say that they have to go first in the scheme to get the most out of your guitar. Because you know what I mean? It's like it's just a frequency laying. The drums lay on lower frequencies, and the guitars lay on middle frequencies, and the vocals lay on the higher frequencies. And if you stack them correctly, you sound much better because you're utilizing each sound for each other. That's why God Forbid sounded so great, because Corey had his drum kit sounding amazing. I had my guitar sounding the right way. My brother did. We had our band fitting together very well. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
and that. And the idea is the bass and the drums is the triangle, because if you throw a triangle on the ground, what's it going to do? It's just going to plop around. Right?
Yeah.
Now, guitar, you fucking play the guitar. If you throw a ball and hit it, depending on how hard it'll go up as high in the air. And that's like a guitar. You can play fucking solo. And then the two of those things, you know, it equals a square, which is the square is basically what you want your end product to be based on those two equations. Do your foundation first, and then do your high stuff second, and then figure out what you want your end product to be, and then work within that structure, and it makes it easier for you to write a song. You know, but also with that, I take it and I relate it to 1 + 1 = 2, 1 + 2 = 3. You know what I mean? You can't get the 3 without 1 + 1. You know what I mean? So it's like everything works in that, and then it goes to your and I relate it to your lifestyle. Like how you, like a bum, you know, like how a bum lives his life. If you're having a hard time living your life, the way you fix your life is you go to your childhood and figure out what happened there.
Yeah, what was the damaging moment that changed everything for you? Try to fix that and move forward from there.
Yeah, and then the circle is like, what are your aspirations from that were, and put that down on a timeline in your life and say, okay, what am I doing that doesn't make sense here from what I know? It's like actually analyzing your life, because my life, I can analyze where I live. And then my life I have a really great life. I mean, I work like 6 hours a week, and I'm like, you know, it's pretty awesome stuff, but but I didn't end up here by mistake, but because I used my life. I mean, I had a pretty full life. You know, I've lived a pretty full life, but...
Yeah, you have a kid now. You have a kid now.
Yeah, I mean, I got 3 kids, man, and I'm
Shit, you have three kids.
I divorced. I got, I don't really want to go into the personal shit because it's like, but
You want to separate.
that I have going on, if I can handle my life the way I'm handling it with ease, then this book, for me to relate songwriting to handling your life,
Yeah.
this book, when it's done, is going to go into Guitar Center. It's going to go in the music section in Borders and stuff.
But what did you think of the election? What did you think of the racism that came out for people that really were backing Romney? What did you think?
Oh, see, the thing is, I think first of all, racism is necessary.
Yeah.
Because like people need to be able to say what they want to say to get out. I think people are racist not because they're racist, because they're angry and they don't know how to express their emotions.
Do you think there's a level of a misunderstanding between that?
No, it's not a misunderstanding. This is a personal issue with that person. This person is unhappy with their life. That's why they have to call this person a nigger. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't mean, and they're angry at Obama because their life sucks. Like, fuck, it's like, take control of your own fucking life. Like, I didn't pay attention to the election at all because I knew Obama was going to win, because to me, it doesn't make sense for Obama not to win. How's Obama not going to win in a demographic United States?
It didn't seem like Romney was a legitimate candidate. It seemed like it was something that the Patriots or some weird shadow fucking government or whatever you want to believe in, for you conspiracy theorists, it seemed like some weird candidate that they created.
Sorry. Sorry about that, man. Continue. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, it just seemed like Romney, over the last maybe 4 to 8 years, we had, because I live in New York, we had the rent is too high guy. We had that guy. It seems like over the last maybe, I want to say 4 to 8 years, we've had these politicians that there's no fucking way in hell I would vote for them. Maybe they may be saying words that I agree with, but they're so fucking crazy. It's like the Ringling Brothers, Barnum and Bailey, are missing one of their clowns. And they're on my TV, and I need to call them.
I think you're looking at it too specifically. I don't think you should look at things specifically. The reason why I didn't vote or even take part in this campaign, you didn't hear me say anything about Barack Obama. I haven't been vocal at all, because I thought if Barack Obama doesn't win, then America deserves what it gets, and I have been wrong, my intuition, and something's wrong with my shit. But Obama winning, him winning, I knew he was going to win, because I vouched for this motherfucker like 4 years ago, and I caught a lot of shit for it. But you know what? I knew he was going to win, because the difference between the two campaigns shows a leader who understands the world that we live in and a leader who just hires people to understand the world we live in. There's a big difference.
Romney thought that people that were middle class made $325,000 and above per year. There's a lot of really dumb hatred, especially with the election that came out. I saw a lot of people, personally on my Facebook, where it was people would support Romney because it was either closeted racism or they just didn't know very much about politics.
You know what the thing that's really, the thing that's about that is, like, no matter what, even if Romney had won, life is still going to go on, so what are these people so fucking angry about anyway? You know what I mean? Like, and the thing is, I don't give a fuck, because it's been working well for me, so keep doing what they're doing.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that, because you know what, you're not going to change the American government.
No, you're not going to change a fucking thing.
But you know what? You're not going to change the American government, but right now the American government is changing. So you need to fit within, because the American government works within this thing that I'm working with the book, the triangle, the circle, and the square. Like, you have to have, like the Congress, you know what I mean? There's 3 branches of government. There's 3 branches of a song. That's how, if you look at it that way, but you know what? 3 branches of government, how many people are in the House? There's 500 people, so there's 500 different parts to that branch. Same thing with this. You can fit, how much shit can you know what I mean? So it's like, the idea is to free people's thinking and to get them to think about their own lives, rather than think about other people's lives, because most people think about other people's lives. That's why they call people niggers, because they haven't figured out why they feel the way they do. And like,
it was weird with the election. It seemed like people didn't care about other people's lives. A lot of people that were supporting Romney, they were like, "Oh well, I had a shitty 4 years." The president has nothing to do with your shitty 4 years. The president can't create jobs. I know you want the president to create jobs. The only way the president create jobs is he starts his own company. Well, they also weren't listening to anything that Romney was saying, because Romney would say one thing and then would say another, and he also didn't respect women's rights at all.
Yeah, but here's the thing: like Barack Obama had a much more targeted campaign.
He did. He definitely did.
And the thing is, and that says a lot about the leader. Barack Obama has had these guys running for 20 years. Mitt Romney hired these guys 5, 6 months ago.
Yes,
So
definitely.
who do you think is, so if you put it on paper, who do you think is really going to win?
Well, Romney was never meant to be a president. Barack Obama, if you look at the campaigns between the two of them, if you just listen to the way that the two of them would speak, you would listen to Barack Obama, and he would just sound like a president. Like he would sound like the guy that you would expect to run a country. And then Romney would just literally say words. Opposed to Obama, where it would be like, no, I could believe he would do that.
Well, it's funny that the debate. Well, apparently, Governor Romney doesn't know how the military works. We apparently have these aircraft carriers and planes land on them.
Yeah.
It's like that was a very bad moment for Romney. But the thing is, Romney he's actually a perfect example of what I'm talking about, living in this restrictive lifestyle. For 8 years, he's been living in this Republican bubble that isn't reflective of what America's actually about. Republicans live in a dreamland.
Oh yeah, they totally do. Did you see the video where he sits down with a veteran who was homosexual, and he just said, he literally looks at the guy and he says, "I believe marriage is between a man and a woman," and then the guy, the veteran, just shits all over him. Did you see that?
No, I didn't see it, but I mean, I could believe it, because Republicans need to practice one thing: tolerance.
Yeah.
Look out of people's business. If they're not going to fight for people who don't have rights, then they just need to get away and worry about fiscal conservatism. Seriously, do not, and that's exactly what the thing is. Like, the artist, who's the artist, is like a Democrat, if you put it there. The Republican, if they just dealt with money, everyone would trust them. You know what I mean? Because it's just like the guy watching TV. Just deal with my money.
Yeah.
Just deal with my money. Don't tell me that I need to be gay. Deal with the money. You know what I mean? And that's kind of
being gay has nothing to do with it. Nothing to do with it.
Exactly.
If you're gay and you want to marry someone else, go ahead and be gay and marry someone else. But look at people who aren't gay and look how miserable they are when they're married. And then you want that? Okay. It's all you.
I mean, I know that firsthand. I got married, and that shit was a disaster and a half. But
they can have that. They can go for it. Go for it.
Yeah, but at the same time, it's like I make these decisions and I make them impulsively, but it gets me to this point to where, every single mistake I've made got me to the point to make this book to help other people see the way I see. Yeah. I see the world in a way that no one else really sees, and that's a good thing. So I hopefully other people understand that this is the way you can look at the world.
Yeah.
And if you look at the world this way, what happens if you stop blaming everyone else, you take personal responsibility, you're going to make mistakes, but what happens is you learn from those mistakes and you're honest with yourself. Yeah.
You and I had talked about metalcore and deathcore and all that. If you don't want to talk about it, that's fine, but what do you think of Ronnie Radke, the lead singer of Falling in Reverse and throwing fucking...
on mic stands and stuff like that?
Yeah, he ruined the local scene at Disney parks.
He's a mentally ill person.
He is.
It's obvious. Yeah, but the thing is, you can't be mad at a mentally ill person. You're supposed to take care of mental illness, so somebody's got to go take care of that nigga. If somebody is posing a threat to the people around you,
yeah,
you have the right to take them out. And I don't mean take them out like kill them, but I'm saying you have the right to...
You need to disassociate them from the rest of what's going on.
The fact that there's not one guy in that band who has the balls to tell the singer and grab the singer by the neck and choke him out on stage and say, "Yo, we don't do that here," shows that those guys are a bunch of fucking pussies.
Well, do you know the whole story about I See Stars and all that?
No, but the thing is, I don't want to know the story because it has nothing to do with me because I got other shit to deal with. I got to make money next year. You know what I'm saying? Fuck those niggas.
All right, I want to ask you something that's very different from the music industry. Do you game at all? And if you do game, what do you think of the Wii U?
Dude, I'm sorry, I don't game at all because I just don't. I just don't. I mean, I used to back, not like when I had a PS3 and I played that, but I just was like, I always felt for some reason that that I didn't need to escape like that anymore, you know?
Yeah.
And it wasn't fun for me, you know? Like, I think that going to a concert or going to a movie is an escape, and it's fun. You know?
Yeah.
And games are the same thing. But for me, video games, it's almost like video games are like work for me, you know? And I don't want to do more work. Yeah, I've been trying my whole life to do less and less work, and now I'm getting to the point to where I'm actually, you know...
It's not like Super Mario Brothers where you just run to the right side of the screen and then after a while you get rewarded with points.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what I want to. That's exactly what I want to do. So I'm just. But you know, the thing is like I've been, you know, I live in Miami, and this is a really, really, really negative place. You know, but I'm like not from here, so I just see how people treat each other, and everyone talks about everyone else. So they spend all their time tearing each other down, and all I do is create things. I create things, you know what I mean? So
that's the majority of people, though. They will tear each other down. That's not just like Miami, Florida. That's America today.
That's America today, but the thing is, America today, this book is for America today to let them know that it's not about instruction, it's about synergy. Things are supposed to work together. That's how they're supposed to work. If your life is fucking up, that means you're not making it work for you. You know what I mean? Like,
oh, absolutely.
Life is there, you know, and you know, and you know, your life, you yourself, your life is making it work for you. You did something. You made the right decision by hitting me up on my book thing because you got a podcast from it. So you.
In all honesty, I had no podcast, and I decided to say something that I knew would piss you off, and then you said, "Oh, what's your number?" And then you called me, and then you said, you have a fucking half an hour. You have a half an hour to come up with questions." So I came up with questions.
I was testing in the beginning because I was mad at you, but the thing is, see, the fact that you hit up my Facebook, right?
Yeah.
And the fact that I called you, what that is, that's how synergy, that's me pulling one more person into me, and you start thinking better, and then one person pulls into you, and then you start to build a coalition of people who think alike positively.
That's what you did.
But also the thing is like, you're not supposed to let me do that. You know what I mean? You have to hold me accountable. You know, like, until my idea is proven to work,
yeah,
it's, you know, just my idea of making a book is the reason why we're having a podcast. See, that's why the idea of the book is so important.
Yeah.
That's the first time I mentioned the book, and you're the person who comes out and says something, and there's a podcast about it. And to tell you the truth, this is probably going to be the first thing about the book. This will probably help the book. This would probably be what, you know what I mean? So it's like...
No, with me putting it out, you probably have 3 people buying the book.
No. See, the thing is, though, to me, songs and books are all reinterpreted.
Yeah.
I don't need... See, like, just the idea of... This might as well be a conversation between 2 people. This type of conversation that we're having,
yeah,
people need to hear this shit. You know what I mean? But
people do need to hear this shit, and people do need to actually read your book. They do.
Yeah, but my book's not done. It ain't done, motherfucker. Like, I don't.
Then finish it, motherfucker.
Yeah, but the thing is, I don't rush things. I let things happen as they come. Like, I'm very, very organic that way. Like, I don't push things through because you fuck things up when you push things through the fucking ringer. You know, like, you don't want to do that. You want to, like, there's just the way the natural response of you hitting me up and then me defending myself. I'm not gonna let you do that, motherfucker. I wasn't thinking about it that way, but that's exactly what I was thinking, because I was like, this idea of my book is, I said at the time, because this shit is like my way of life that's been working for me, and I've got a lot of shit that's going on in my personal life that is really fucked up, but I focus on the things I can control, you know? Yeah,
but I think, personally, you should be able to compartmentalize it, because you do have positive and negative. I mean, like you said, you have 3 kids, but you do have negative things, so there's a negative and a positive.
Well, the 3 kids, I mean, I got those things stabilized a long time ago. The 2 kids I have, I mean, I took care of that a long time ago. That's not even one. Yeah,
but that's a very good thing. For a lot of people, it's like, oh, that's a really dangerous thing. I may be collecting paychecks off of that. Some people may see it as a negative thing. Some people, like you, are lucky enough to say, no, this is a really good thing in my life. I'm able enough to support them. I'm able enough to give them a good, positive future. And I'm also positive enough in my personality that I will give them a better future than, say, someone else who has a shitty outlook on life, who can't give them a good outlook, and, so on and so forth.
Well, I'm gonna critique what you just said there just a little bit,
okay.
And this is something I've been working on. Like, I have to work on like the way I analyze comments. Like, that is like a little. I don't speak that directly about what I'm going to do. I'm going to take care of my kids. What I do is I live in the moment. I don't live in the future like that because I actually don't know. That's why it's so hard for me to live sometimes, because I do have moments of doubt and the pressure really stacks. But you know what? That pressure stacks only for a little bit, and that makes me stronger. I come out, and that's why I'm so confident. That's why, you know, people around me, when they first meet me, they love me, but the more they're around me, they start to hate me more and more because they don't understand how I can be so confident, but how it looks like I live so well, and they're going to work every day, and they start to hate me. You know what I mean?
That's jealousy, though. Everybody gets jealous.
No, it is jealousy, but the thing is, it's one of these things where it's like, they, you know, they wish they could do it, but it's like, you know, it's like they don't want to see me anymore because it makes them feel bad that they can't do the same thing. But
everybody, in respect, everybody wants to go off and play guitar for a living. I don't think there's anybody that doesn't want to do that.
Yeah, but I haven't played guitar in a living in over 4 years.
I know, yeah. But there's a lot of people that know you for that, though.
Yeah, but the thing is, the amount of people who are going to know me for this new idea is going to pale in comparison to how many people will know me for playing guitar.
So you really think that this whole self-help thing and where you're pushing now is going to completely overlap what you did with God Forbid?
Well, I mean, I look at it as a song, as an artist, the right to be an artist book. It's not a self-help book. It's like a motivational book. I only put self-help to be like, I put self-help just so that a book publisher knows what I'm selling them. You know what I mean? It's not. It's not self-help. It's like, it's just motivation, and it's basically like life management, and learn how to write songs or learn how to be an artist. You know, find out the art in you, because. And I'm not done with the book, so I can't really explain it completely, but
yeah,
the ideas are there. You know, I do have the whole idea, but I have a lot of stuff that I need to put it together. It's going to take a long time to edit this book because it's got to be, it's high-minded ideas that make sense and comes together. And so it's like, you know, and all I want to do is I just want to make sure that people understand that they have an option to not live the life in that negative fashion that they do, but they need to be honest that they are saying these things because their lives aren't complete, not because the other person is causing the problem.
Oh yeah, negativity is always because you choose to live your life in a way that doesn't make you happy.
Yeah, and also, or you make yourself blind to the real problem within yourself that you avoid. Like a lot of people ignore the problems that they have within themselves. They know are there because they're afraid to face them. But for me, like my issue was my mom wasn't really there. But the thing is, that was like a good thing for me because I got all my ambition from my mom, but I hated my mom for a little while, and then I forgave her.
Yeah.
And that's what. But I had to understand what happened there to forgive her. You know what I mean? Most people don't do introspection. Most people don't do introspection, and I've only been doing introspection since I've been born. So for me to be constantly living in my head, but constantly creating things. But you see, at 17, I was in a band. At 19, I get signed, and then I quit the band, and now I'm doing this. And I'm working on this book. It's like, to me, my life, I could put my whole life on a roadmap and tell you exactly how I got here.
Yeah, a lot of people don't look into themselves. A lot of people don't realize that, oh, it's my view of the world. That's why I'm losing friends. That's why I'm in shitty relationships. That's why I'm getting attached to people that I really shouldn't be getting attached to.
Well, see, you know what? That's something, man. I mean, this is whoever solves the male and female crisis. I think the LGBT community, the gay and lesbians, I think they got it smart.
Yeah.
Like, yo, because you know what? The only problem that caused me the most pain is like female problems, because you know what? They're like God to me, because you have no idea what the fuck they're gonna do.
No, you have no idea what they're gonna do because they never know what they want to do.
I mean, seriously, I've been in conversations where it's like, you know, I don't love myself, and then it turns into I don't love you anymore. Like, what the fuck just happened there? You know?
Well, you also have to.
The same movie?
You have to also consider the fact that you're a man and I'm a man. We're made out of testosterone. They're made out of estrogen. It's a completely different chemical. So of course they're gonna think differently. They're gonna feel differently. Their entire existence is completely different.
Yeah, but it falls back into my triangle, circle, square. The square is the baby. You know, that's evolution right there. You know what I mean? Like the triangle cannot, you know, be the circle. You know, and then the whole point is like women need to help us a little bit out, because men are becoming extinct. And this goes to show you that band you were talking about before, this Ricky faggot guy. his band are a bunch of guys who are worthless men. You know what I mean? It's like that's worthless men on stage, not doing what's right as a man.
Oh, you mean the Ronnie Radke falling in reverse issue?
Yeah, whoever. Yeah, that guy. I'm not going to give him any love, like as far as the name. I don't want to give, but I'm saying those are 5 guys who are worthless men, and it makes it harder for us to look like good men to a woman who we want. You know what I mean?
I think the whole issue with them was this is what I had heard, and I don't mean to take up your time to put out what they did, but it was that they felt that another band wasn't being professional, but the lead singer of Falling in Reverse wasn't professional himself.
Yeah, but see, the thing is, right now, like that thing that you're doing, I gotta put this down in my notebook right now. Like, you know, don't sweat the small stuff or the details.
It was small stuff too.
Yeah, but the thing is, that has nothing to do with what this overall symptom is. The symptom is that these guys are fucking worthless dudes who don't know how to fucking act and don't know how to keep each other in check.
Dude, if you saw their videos, you would laugh.
Well, if I saw their videos, I'd probably turn it off because this shit is butt anyway. Like I'm the type of dude who will be like, even if I know this guy knows karate and judo, I'm the type of dude who would go in there and try and bust his ass just for a statement, you know, just to make a statement.
Yeah.
Because you know, it's like men are extinct in a way to where it's like, you know, first of all, we're losing control of the world, which is scary to a lot of men, which makes most men very insecure, which makes them use women in ways that...
But it should be fine.
Are wrong.
It should be just fine. It should be 50-50, truthfully.
Well, we need to be able to get some dick implants or some shit now. You know what I'm saying? You need to level the playing field. I need dick implants on aisle 7. You know what I mean? Like...
Well, I mean, a lot of guys chase after girls because they have the vagina, but what they don't realize is they have the penis, and girls want guys just as much as guys want girls, and they don't realize that, and then they end up chasing after girls, and then those girls end up thinking, oh, this is how guys are, and it's totally not how it is.
Yeah, but the thing is, we have to fight for our own species. We have to fight for men, and women have to fight. Like, we need good women. Like Elizabeth Warren, who won up in. She's gonna be the first female president, by the way. I know it for a fact. She's gonna be the first female president. But Elizabeth Warren, she's like a woman, but she's just like any normal person. She seems like she just has a woman's skin. You know
Wasn't Elizabeth Warren the first LBGT?
No. She won in Massachusetts. She won the Senate seat against Scott Brown.
Okay.
And she's. I mean, if you hear her speak, man, she cares about people so much in a way that I've never seen before.
Yeah.
That her being a woman it's almost like she's more powerful than a man. It's crazy. It's shit. This woman is like, you know, she's going to be a superstar. She'll probably might not be the next president, but I think she's going to be the first female president. I believe so.
Yeah.
And because I don't think the Republicans are going to be able to get their shit together in 4 years, because they're still trying to figure out what the fuck happened, which is great because I know what.
They're going to spend the next 2 years figuring out how do we get this black guy back in president. So what other documents can we just fake so that we can get him out, so that we can get this white guy back in?
Oh, you know what I could do? I could, the idea virus, it's free.
Idea virus.
Yeah, idea virus. One second, let me get to my iBooks, because I have an iPad, people. Yeah, go get one. It's awesome. The Global Commission Report on Drugs ebook, which is basically a book that says that the war on drugs is basically a failure, but it's by...
Oh, it's terrible, dude.
So basically, like...
What's the name of the book again?
Global Commission Report on Drugs. It's not that's not even a book. It's a document. It's a government document done by, like, you know, scientists and like political people who work with like Reagan and George Bush, like people who know about this who are in politics.
Yeah.
And then the other one's Idea Virus by Seth Godin, Godin. It's basically about how when you get an idea that's so good that it just spreads out by itself, like that's what the world's turning to. This truth, you know, like you need to. An idea is a good thing, so it's a book about how, like, you know, creating things, you know, that enlighten people's minds is what's going to control our future economy, which I believe for a very long time.
Yeah.
You know, so, you know, and the thing is, there's a lot of people out there who are going to reject that idea because it goes against the very nature of them. Like, that sucks for people who say watch TV, that's gonna suck for them because they're gonna be in their head and they've never been in their head before, and that's gonna be a fucking battle, fucking kill themselves.
If they're still watching TV, that is going to be a battle for themselves.
Yeah, that's probably those people. Those are probably the people who turn into zombies, man.
Oh yeah, definitely. We had a talk. We talked about like a storm a little bit ago, and you said you live down in Florida.
Yeah.
How did the hurricane hit you? Hurricane Sandy. For
no.
where I live, it's New York
No.
and it's New Jersey. It completely fucked us. Did it hit you at all?
I know, but I heard it. But the funny thing is, I didn't even realize what was going on because dude, I've been occupied with my life.
Occupy Wall Street.
But the thing is, I've been occupied with my life so much that I didn't even realize the hurricane hit until like the day of, and we're like, "Yo, we can't get in touch with your dad." I'm like, "What do you mean?" It's like, "Oh, a hurricane hit." I'm like, "What?" You know?
Yeah, dude. It's a bad situation for a lot of people in Long Island. There's a Long Island Power Authority, and it's been now 2 weeks, and the situation is there's lines in the trees that are still active. So the people that work on the lines and work on the trees, they can't go up and fix that. And then trees that are down, there's lines that are active in the trees that they can't work on that either. So there's guys just out there collecting fucking paychecks. And then...
And you know what? I mean, but Hurricane Sandy, man, I mean, like, really, like, Obama was going to win without Hurricane Sandy or not because he had polling, but really... Hurricane Sandy hitting and his leadership on that, and Chris Christie, man, I love that guy.
Yeah, everybody turned out to love him. And did you see the fact? Did you see the video where he's wearing a fleece that says his name?
Like, I don't even,
and the fact that he's a fucking governor.
He's like, I don't know, and I don't care. You don't know who I am.
Yeah, he wears a fleece that says his name and who he is. It's like he's in kindergarten.
Well, yeah, but the thing is, like, Chris Christie, I mean, he was up for 3 days, but the thing is, the president's response on this. Being so good, imagine if it wasn't, how bad it would be.
Yeah, like President Bush.
Well, not even that. I mean, I don't even want to compare the two because I think we live in two different worlds now.
Oh, we totally do. You're right.
I think that President Bush needs a pass. Now that I think President Bush gets a pass, I like President Bush, man. He's my favorite comedian of the time.
Your favorite comedian?
He was a funny guy, man.
He was really funny. He was really funny.
And he was. And when he made mistakes. When he made mistakes, they were really funny. That's why he got away with it, because he seemed like just a child, and he seemed like he has a great heart. You know what I mean?
Yeah. What's really interesting is if you look at the pundits, you look at the fact that like you don't see President Bush Sr. anymore. You don't see President Bush Jr. anymore, but you do see President Clinton still around. But like I said, you don't see President Bush anymore.
Fucking Bill Clinton is like, I mean, he's a superstar. He gave it. I mean, I don't know. It's just, but the thing is, for me, I think that the world is, or not going to say the world. America is very clearly being turned into two types of people: the artist and the non-artist.
Did you see the fact that this last election, and I hate to keep bringing up politics, but it just freaking happened. The way the election panned out versus the way that the Civil War was fought versus it was pro-slavery versus pro-progressiveness.
Oh my God, that's so fucked up.
The way that we elected our president in this last election, it was basically the same. All the red states were pro-slavery and all the blue states were pro-progressiveness. It was basically the same.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, no. If you go on Google, just Google, last election versus Civil War, the maps will come up. Same fucking thing. You won't be able to tell the difference, except for a few states.
That's amazing.
Yeah, our country has not changed in 300 years.
My dad's reading this book on Lincoln, and I was surprised. My dad compared Obama to Lincoln. I was very surprised. My dad is very politically protective. Like, what I'm saying? He protects his heroes politically.
Yeah.
I was like, seriously, Dad? And then now you just said that, I'm understanding, like, holy shit, like Obama, and you know how Obama won the campaign, right? He basically had the campaign won 6 months before because he knew that the country was going in a certain direction, and and it's just like, it says, okay, you know what? The way he won, it was like he won so handily and with precision that he just made the other guys on the court look as if they shouldn't belong there and they need to go away.
Well, it wasn't only that. For me, being a New Yorker and being a Democrat, I should put out there that me personally, I've never registered as Democrat or Republican, but to see Romney as his opponent, that wasn't a choice. So it was like, oh, it's Obama or fucking no other vote, so I'm just gonna vote for Obama. So.
Yeah, but the thing is, Mitt Romney was the best choice that they actually had. I mean, who are you gonna vote? Rick Perry? What the fuck?
That was the thing. He wasn't put up against anyone that was smart.
Well, but the thing is, I think that's why I knew that Obama was going. I was like, there's nobody going to go up against Obama because Obama is one of these guys where it's like, even if things aren't going well, he carries himself in a way to where you want your president to act that way. You don't want him to go crazy.
Yeah, he acted like a genuine president.
And also, Barack Obama, even though he's labeled a Democrat, I don't really label him either because he fights with both parties just equally.
Have you ever noticed that some politicians, and I don't mean to cut you off, some politicians, Democrat or Republican, if they're a Democrat, they will wear a blue tie, and a Republican will wear a red tie. How many times have you seen Barack Obama wearing a red tie?
Well, it's funny that you say that. Like the day after the election,
he wore a red tie.
Morning Joe, all of the everyone switched it to do a show bipartisan. So the Democratic pundits were wearing the red tie, the Republican, but the thing is, it's like, that is something where I think that political party really should not be defined from the citizen level. I think that yes, the party should be defined for the politician level, but I think citizens, me and you, should not define ourselves as Democrat or Republican because
we're just human beings.
It's just like the God word. It's like Democrat, Republican mean different things to everybody else. I don't know what Democrat means to you. That's why I don't call myself a Democrat. Like Paul Ryan's idea to opt out of Social Security, I want to do that. Like, I want to opt out of Social Security so I can keep, you know what I mean? Because I don't think that I'm going to be the type of person who's going to be old on Social Security. I know I'm not. So it's like, I have conservative ideals as well. Like, everyone has conservative, everyone has, liberal things. It's just, let people choose their own lives, and then, we can get down to fixing the real fucking problems,
Yeah, there's a lot of people that are really in between. And I have parents that collect Social Security, and they worked all their lives. So I can understand the Democratic view. It's fine. I understand Republican views. I was listening to Opie and Anthony, and Opie was going off about how under Obama's legislation, if you own more than $1 million worth of assets, when you die, half of that goes to the government. You could end up with more than $1 million worth of assets, but you can't leave that to your children. That's fucked up. It's right and it's wrong at the same time.
I don't think it's fucked up. I don't think it's fucked up at all. I actually think that that's the right way to go so that your children take responsibility for their own fucking lives. That's what causes problems, entitlement. Because when you have money from something, you feel you don't have to do anything. Next thing you know, you're creating your own world. You live in your own world. No, fuck that. Give the money to the government because the government is present. Your family lives in the fucking past.
Yeah.
Gives your past money, it's past money. So
God, that's such a refreshing view. I just want to say that. That is such a refreshing view. That it doesn't matter what you grew up with. It matters what you do from the moment, from this until the day you die is what matters. That's what matters, not what your family did. So what you just said, so fucking refreshing, dude. All right, man, I don't mean to cut this short. Dude, it was absolutely great talking to you. Definitely looking forward to doing this again with you sometime.
You got a good point of view, man. I'm glad that you got this shit. I'm glad you got this shit going. I'll see if I can get some other people to speak to you.
All right, cool, man. Thank you so much.
Right. No problem. Be good.
All right, everybody, that's it for the first ever Radio Ready podcast. I want to thank you, Dallas Coyle. Everybody check out madcarousel.com. You can check out soundcloud.com/mad-carousel. And if you got the Twitters, you got the tweets, you got the little birdie, you can hit up Dallas Coyle on Twitter. It's just Dallas Coyle. And yeah. Hopefully this new book will be coming out soon, so you guys can check that out. And yeah, check out some Genetic. Check out some God Forbid. Go to your local shows. Support your local music, kids. Because without the local music, you don't have famous bands. You don't even have good bands. You got no bands. So, yeah. Check out the Twitter. Check out the SoundCloud. check out magcarousel.com. And like I said, support the local music. Alright, guys, thanks for listening. Rate, comment, subscribe, all that bullshit. I'll see you later. Bye, folks. Bye.